There was once a sweet little maid who lived with her father and mother in a pretty little cottage at the edge of the village. Everybody loved this little girl. Her grandmother perhaps loved her most of all, and gave her a great many pretty things. Once she gave her a red cloak with a hood which she always wore, so people called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Put on your grandmother. She has been ill. Take along his basket for her. I have put in it eggs, butter, and cakes, and other dainties." It was a bright and sunny morning. Red Riding Hood was so happy that at first wanted to dance through the woods. All around her grew pretty wild flowers, which she loved so well, and she stopped to pick a bunch for her grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood wandered from her path, and was stooping to pick a flower, when from behind her came a voice said, "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood." Little Red Riding Hood turned around and saw a great big wolf, but Little Red Riding Hood didn't know what the wicked beast the wolf was, so she was not afraid. "What have you in that basket, Little Red Riding Hood?" "Eggs and butter and cakes, Mr. Wolf." "Where are you going with them, Little Red Riding Hood?" "I'm going to my grandmother, who is ill, Mr. Wolf." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Riding Hood?" "Along the path, past the wild rose bushes, then through the gate at the end of the wood, Mr. Wolf." Then Mr. Wolf again said, "Good morning," and set off, and Little Red Riding Hood again went in search of wild flowers. At last he reached the porch covered with flowers, and knocked at the door of the cottage. "Who's there?" called the grandmother. "Little Red Riding Hood," said the wicked wolf. "Raise the lad, open the door, and walk in," said the grandmother. Then Wolf pressed the latch, and walked in where the grandmother lay in bed. He made one jump out of bed into a closet. Then the wolf put on the cap which she had dropped, and crept under the bedclothes. In a short while Little Red Riding Hood knocked at the door, and walked in, saying, "Good morning, grandmother. I have brought you eggs, butter, and cakes, and here is a bunch of flowers I gathered in the wood." As she came nearer the bed, she said, "What big ears you have, grandmother! All the better to hear you with, my dear." "What big eyes you have, grandmother!" "All the better to see you with, my dear." "But, grandmother, what a big nose you have!" "All the better to smell with, my dear." "But, grandmother, what a big mouth you have!" "All the better to eat you up with, my dear," he said as he sprang at Little Red Riding Hood. Just at the moment, Little Red Riding Hood's father was passing a cottage and heard her scream. He rushed in and with his axe chopped off Mr. Wolf's head. "Roar!" Everybody was happy that Little Red Riding Hood had escaped from the wolf. Then Little Red Riding Hood's father carried her home, and they lived happily ever after.